Tonight on the night team, the travel rush is in full swing. Millions of folks are expected to be driving to their Christmas destinations. You can see plenty of movement around Louisville. The good news is no traffic delays at this hour. And thanks for joining us on the night team. I'm Connie Leonard. Doug has the night off. We're getting right to your weather forecast with meteorologist Christina San Juan. Christina, what can travelers expect as they hit the roads?
Well, Connie, it's pretty ideal conditions out there on the roads. Most of us are dealing with dry roads. We have just a little breeze that's coming through. But honestly, you couldn't ask for something a whole lot better than this on a day as busy as today. However, all across the United States can't say the same thing, because as we look off to our southwest, we do have that system that's going to continue working its way across the United States, and that'll be what's responsible for actually bringing us some of that rain on Christmas Day. Here locally, we have that rain that's situated just to the north of Indianapolis. If you are watching from southern Indiana, you'll see just a few sprinkles, but nothing heavy is expected into the next couple of hours. First thing tomorrow morning, though, we could wake up to a sprinkle or two here in the city, but again, it's going to be very short-lived and most of us won't even notice it. Into the afternoon, though, we're going to be mild once again, seeing those middle 50s return for us, and then we even climb up into the middle 60s for our Christmas Eve. But I did mention a pretty wet Christmas Day, and I'm going to be timing that out for you so you know what to expect coming up right around 11:18. Connie.
All right, Christina, thank you. Today, LMPD released body camera video from two officer-involved shootings that happened within 6 days of each other. The first happened near Churchill Downs December 8th when officers attempted to make a traffic stop. The second, a tense standoff in the Portland neighborhood, turned deadly December 14th. Police say it was a hostage situation. LMP Deputy Chief Paul Humphrey is calling that shooting an unwinnable situation. Police say they were called to the home on North 25th Street to a domestic situation. A woman called 911 saying her brother was in the house on drugs and had a gun. Police later identified that man as 30-year-old Kenneth Clark. When officers arrived, they learned Clark had taken 23-year-old John Robinson Jr. and two other people hostage. Police say the situation escalated quickly from there. LMPD says Clark shot Robinson in the head, killing him, and then was shot by police seconds later. Now, we're told Clark is still in the hospital in critical condition. Senior reporter Isaiah Kim Martinez and photojournalist Jessica Farley covered a news conference this afternoon as LMPD went through the body camera video.
121 Baker, it's escalating up there. We might have to move up.
Really, there's only three decisions you can make at this point, right? They can sit there and do nothing, wait for the SWAT team to show up, which might be somewhere between 15 minutes, 45 minutes, an hour before we get that level of resources there. You can go to the door, you can attempt to make contact and start a negotiation with this person, understanding that you cannot predict the reaction that you're going to get from that person.
LMPD Deputy Chief Paul Humphrey tells us these officers ultimately chose the third option, taking decisive action in that moment.
That is our best opportunity to take some kind of intervention that's going to save the life of preferably both these hostages, but at least somebody.
But several minutes before that,
he got a gun pointed at my friend, and he would not let him leak out the door.
Officers were on the first floor, children inside.
And my daughter and my niece was in the house.
They talked to the woman who called 911. She told officers the suspect was upstairs with guns holding 3 people hostage in a room. One of those 3 was able to come downstairs for a moment and let police know what was going on.
His big brother got 2 guns to his head. It's like he's ready to die, man. So he's willing, if he sees some police thing, he's willing to die.
In the video, you can hear things begin to escalate upstairs through the closed door. LMPD describes the suspect saying he's going to make a sacrifice and, quote, "You're going to die with me or before me." Eventually, officers bust through the door, where we'll stop the video. Police say that's when Clark shoots one of the 2 remaining hostages in the head, killing him. Officers, within seconds, fire at the suspect.
People down, suspect shot, email still 3.
Is there anything the officers could have done differently to potentially save the life of the hostage that lost their life?
I will tell you from my experience, this was an unwinnable situation for those officers. You are not going to take the most experienced SWAT officer in the world and win that gunfight. That person had set that situation up in a circumstance that we were not given an opportunity to be able to prevent that from happening.
Deputy Chief Paul Humphrey there tells us officers' rounds also hit the victim in this case in the torso, but he says that came after the victim had already been shot in the head. Police say Clark has a history of mental health challenges and time in prison. Just getting released this past October, 2 guns were found in his possession. Now, as for the 2 officers who fired shots here, both are on administrative leave. Per department policy, they joined the force this past April. In Louisville, Isaiah Kim Martinez, WHAS11 Night Team on your side.
Police say they were able to get the other hostage, the suspect's sister, out safely. The second body camera video we saw today was from a traffic stop near Churchill Downs December 8th. A man was shot by officers after police say he pointed a gun at them.
The gun! Drop that gun! Drop the gun!
Now, it happened just after 9 o'clock. In the video, you can see police pull up behind a car. When officers get out, you can see the suspect, identified as Marvin Smith, running from the car with a gun in his hand. Officers are heard yelling at him to drop the weapon, but he never does.
Our primary responsibility above ourselves is to protect others, and so running in an area that might have other people, that behavior is clearly dangerous to both the officers and the public.
Now, the suspect, Marvin Smith, was taken to the hospital and has since been released. He's charged with fleeing police and wanton endangerment, as well as several drug trafficking charges. Sergeant Joshua Arnwine fired the shots in that second shooting, and today we got a look at his personnel record. The officer has been suspended at least 4 different times, the first dating back to 2017 for violating reporting guidelines. According to his files, in 2020, he was suspended for failing to use his body camera and failed to be civil. He was ordered to be suspended for 1 day without pay, but it wasn't sanctioned until 2 years later under former Chief Erica Shields. Some heartbreaking news out of southern Indiana. The Jackson County Sheriff's Office is investigating a deadly crash involving 3 children. It happened last night in Hamilton Township at North County Road 100 and East County Road 600. According to police, a Freightliner collided with a Ford Expedition at the intersection. Both drivers were okay, but that wasn't the case for 3 children in the back of that SUV. 12-year-old Addie Sullivan was treated at the scene and taken to Schneck Medical Center. 9-year-old Archer Sullivan was flown to Riley Children's Hospital in Indianapolis and is still in critical condition tonight. And 6-year-old Elijah Sullivan was also taken to the medical center where he later died. Indiana State Police are assisting in that investigation. Right now, they don't know which driver was at fault. Also new tonight, there's an urgent call for help coming from the nonprofit Blessings in a Backpack. The Louisville chapter says current economic factors have pushed it to the brink this year, forcing cuts to its program, leaving thousands of kids hungry in the new year. They're sharing their current struggles with the night team's Connor Steffen and photojournalist Elijah McKenzie.
At a time when many look forward to a new start in the new year.
Right now, we're feeling emotionally drained.
Kim Holsklaw dreads it.
Yeah, it's very ironic.
She's worked for the Louisville chapter of national nonprofit Blessings in a Backpack for nearly a decade. It works to feed JCPS students outside of school.
Many of them go 65 hours with nothing to eat.
Children who'd otherwise go hungry on the weekends.
And we're motivated to feed kids, to give them an opportunity for a better future.
That future's looked grim as of late. The chapter's facing major cuts to its program.
Having to make these difficult decisions is something none of us want to do.
Holsklaw says it's due to a combination of factors, stifling many nonprofits right now as they face a stagnant yet still high inflation rate.
That means fewer people are able to make donations.
And a skyrocketing demand for food.
So we were continually getting requests to add children.
But as the year ends, instead of adding, they're having to cut thousands of children from the program.
I don't want to think about it. I have to be honest. I can't imagine the disappointment. This is really going to affect them emotionally.
This imperfect storm of factors means for this nonprofit, cutting 14 schools and 1,400 children from its services in the new year.
When you say this is a lifeline for kids,
it is.
I assume you don't say that lightly.
No. Not at all. We've seen it firsthand. Most of us can't comprehend that type of hunger. We've never been touched by that type of hunger.
The latest numbers from 2021 show 1 in 5 children in Louisville experience food insecurity.
Almost 80,000 kids. That's not adults, that's kids that have no idea where their next meal is going to come from.
It's that need Holzclaw says, forcing her nonprofit to put out an urgent call to action to donate.
That's what we need to ensure that we never have to do this again.
One she hopes won't go unanswered this holiday season. In Louisville, Connor Steffen, the WHAS 11 team, on your side.
Blessings in a Backpack leaders say they would need to receive nearly $1 million in donations to reinstate those 1,400 students. They are asking the public to think about donating any dollar amount this holiday season. We know they are a great organization. Now you can find a link to help on our website, WHAS11.com. Today, the Supreme Court denied a request to immediately take up former President Donald Trump's claim of immunity from prosecution. Trump is facing federal criminal charges on conspiracy and obstruction for trying to undermine the results of the 2020 election. Trump is seeking dismissal of the case, saying he has absolute immunity for actions taken while president. A federal appeals court will now have to take up the matter first, likely delaying Trump's election interference case scheduled to begin March 4th.
For Trump, really the winning ticket is to have it go past November. And in this moment, I'm not so sure this refusal to take an expedited appeal and skip over the DC circuit necessarily means it's past the election. So this still isn't necessarily great news for Donald Trump.
Trump has denied all wrongdoing and is claiming the special prosecutor is trying to wrongfully convict him before the 2024 election.